All right, we're starting now. What's going on, guys? It's Addict here, and King coming back at you with the R&R, man. The R&R with the Lords. We have dedicated an entire show to Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantum. How are they pronouncing that?
Quantumania.
Quantumania. Yeah. So we'll get to that here in a minute. You know, let's get to what we've been watching here recently, King. What you been watching?
Last of Us.
I haven't seen that episode yet.
Are you serious?
No, I haven't. Because
oh my god,
so much stuff was going down this week, and I knew since we're doing the Spoilercast, we were doing them both in one episode. So I figured maybe it's best to get them as close together.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you, you don't want to miss this one.
I feel like is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a real good one.
Yeah. So
what's going on, hard to find?
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on, guys. Addict slacking. No, Addict just got stuff going on.
Nah, you know, this has been a crazy week. It was a crazy week for me too. I'm surprised that I did get a chance to do all the stuff that I did watch. I watched The Bad Batch because tonight I have an episode of what is it? The Lord's Minute. That's on lordsofgaming.net. You can check that out. We are going to delve deep into the last two episodes of The Bad Batch. If you're watching this on Disney Plus, it's an incredible last two episodes. You have the clone conspiracy, and what was the next one? Oh, the next one was Truth and Consequences. So you got to check that out. I'll be doing that right after I do this, and that's only on the website. So you got to go to the website and check that out. Probably have some links on Twitter if you follow me.
I've actually been finishing up on the last season of Better Call Saul.
Oh, for real? I never saw any episodes that I did. You used to watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, that's probably the only show that came close to beating Breaking Bad as my favorite show of all time was Game of Thrones. But you know, they didn't end it. They didn't end it the way I felt
they
like.
kind of lost you with the ending. For me, Breaking Bad turned into a crazy phenomenon. I don't know when I jumped in. I probably jumped in when it was like 3 seasons in, and then I just jumped in, and Heisenberg basically took over my life for a long period of time. I met Jesse downtown, while I was working and stuff like that. Because my former company used to put me in contact with a lot of stars and celebrities, or whatever you want to call them. So yeah, I met Jesse, and he's a little eccentric.
Yeah, what I've been told, he's how he is in the Breaking Bad show. Like for a
Oh no, he's nothing like the Breaking Bad show. Yeah. He's very, very what can I say? Open out there. Yeah, he's what is he? Yeah, I guess that's the term. He's out. He's out.
So did you get a chance to catch up on You?
No. Didn't watch any episodes of You. Didn't watch any episodes of Attack on Titan, because remember, my episodes of Attack on Titan, and has nothing to do with you. That has everything to do with me. My episodes of Attack on Titan is on the Patreon live reaction. So, I'm really holding up progress in my house because my wife likes to watch it. So,
all right. So I guess what we'll be doing is we'll go ahead and move straight on to the business, man. The business. We both went and watched Ant-Man. And, obviously I want to keep a good portion of this, probably about 30 minutes, non-spoiler. And then we'll go into, spoiler territory. And then I want to talk about whether or not Ant-Man is a step in the right direction in the MCU, especially with like DC picking things up. So I
Yeah.
want to talk about the competition there going, especially going into Ant-Man. So first off, we haven't talked, chat, about Ant-Man at all.
No, I've purposely avoided this dude.
Yeah, so we haven't talked about Ant-Man at all, and we're going to really break it out. King, what's your overall perspective on not only Ant-Man in general, but this movie being the first movie in their Phase 5?
Well, definitely. Well, this is a shameless plug. I like to plug stuff that I use, that I respect. I'm not getting sponsored by these dudes at all. Hopefully, Attic and I can get sponsored by them at some point in time. But Regal Unlimited. I'm not gonna lie. This thing is fantastic. I think this Friday I'm gonna go get my wife her own Regal Unlimited because there's so many movies that's gonna be coming out throughout the year, and you get a chance to go to all the movies that you want to see unlimited amount of times. So I'm gonna get her own on unlimited, and have my own unlimited, and we go to the movies every week or whatever. It enhances date night. It lessens the burden on the pocket. What you got to do is just come up with some food, and you get a couple of free items and stuff like that. And also it's like Game Pass, to be honest with you. So I'm addicted to these services. So now, my overall views of Ant-Man, this movie in general, or the character and the world that they crafted in this movie. What do you mean?
So first off, let's just go over the overall perspective of the movie. What your expectations were going into it, and what ultimately ended up. Did it meet your expectations? Did it not? Then we'll go into individual world, the world that they built. This is the first time we were in this certain area, like for this amount of time, seeing this
Yeah.
civilization, and just the overall characters, Kang, Wasp, Ant-Man. It just we'll go. We got a show, man. We got a line. Let's talk about expectations in the actual Ant-Man movie.
Well, my expectations were shot from the beginning because this is supposed to be the microverse, not the quantum universe, right? They don't have the rights to say Micronauts, Microverse. I believe that's owned by Hasbro. So we won't get a lot of the characters that is supposed to be tied to this world. This this world is barren. In the beginning, when we go get Jane Van Dyne, and apparently it's not now. Apparently it's a whole universe within itself. Apparently we have the whole Star Wars universe with lore and stuff like that that's there. The problem is you have a bunch of formerly A-rated A-listed actors with Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas, and then you have uh, Paul Rudd. He's not a leading man um, in movies, so you have a bunch of actors that are B tier characters, and there's nobody there with the star power and the gravitas to pull off a movie that's ushering us into Phase 5. I think this was a poor selection going into Phase 5. I think the world building was poor. I thought the lore around it was poor. There was nobody for you to care about. The only person that you did care about was Jonathan Majors, and he's the villain, right? He's the only one that had the star power.
I feel
Uh,
like the only other person that gravitated towards you was the weird green thing, like, and that was all. Like, and he didn't even do it, but I felt like out of everyone, that's the only thing I felt like they actually gave character behind. Like the thing
the
was like, I got
weird green.
holes, like.
Oh, you're talking about the well on my screen it was like pink orange
Yeah.
thing, the jelly thing. But see, that's a Disney trope. Disney always give you some lovable character for you to say, "Oh my God, I'm in love with this character, and he's so hilarious, and he's so funny, and I want to know more about this character to sell more toys." Boy, this one was a hard one to swallow. Pause, because you have to look at the first of all, let's start with the fundamentally broken character himself, Scott Lang, right? Scott Lang is Ant-Man. In the book, Scott Lang wasn't Ant-Man for longer than the time that he stole the suit. Right? He stole the suit, and Hank Pym got him. And I don't know why they did this dynamics. Hope van Dyne is not the Wasp. Okay, so it's Jane Van Dyne, and it's then they never had a kid. All right, that's why Ultron was born. But you have Hank Pym, Jane Van Dyne. That's Ant-Man. That's the Wasp. Right? Scott Lang and Hope never happened. That was never a thing. The fact that they're making our male characters weaker. Uh, this Ant-Man, Scott Lang, has no powers over ants. Like your main thing, opposed to what the Wasp does. The Wasp flies and she has stings. Ant-Man is supposed to control an army of ants. You don't control an army of anything. You just get small and get large. And then in the books, you don't have that power to go from large and small. No, it's either your giant man or your Ant-Man. One of the two. That's it. And they showed a psychotic break inside the books that if he was doing the giant man and Ant-Man thing at the same time, he was going to have a mental break. He was going to turn into Yellow Jacket, i.e., Yellow Jacket in this universe is now what's this guy name? Modok.
MODOK.
What? Like, Modok was made from advanced idea mechanics, AIM, right? And
didn't he end up like taking over AIM too?
yes,
That's my
he
biggest
became
thing
so
is how they handled
strong.
that character, but we'll get into that later.
I mean, it's just a clusterbuck, to be honest with you, of a film. I thought everything. I mean, except for Jonathan Majors, was just like, what? Are you kidding me? The majority of the film is characters acting out of place, uh, not stepping up to their potential. Too much unheard of backstory. So now Jane, the Wasp, Jane Van Dyne, is there for 30 years, but she's having illicit affairs with all these random micro individuals. I'm like, what? While her husband, Hank Pym, is trying to get her out of the quantum realm. I'm like, what? And this is just so complicit and so blasé as they talk about it, as she's fawning over the dude that she was messing around with for 30 years, with her husband that she was married to for that same 30 years at the same restaurant, which is ridiculous. It's it's a farce of a movie, to be honest with you. It's a farce of a movie.
So it's safe to say this movie didn't meet your expectations.
What? It didn't even shoot close to my expectations. The fact of the matter is, make Ant-Man control his ants, right? Why is Hank Pym stepping up? Why is Hank Pym stepping up with the
What
ant control?
wasn't Hank Pym an Avenger?
No.
He
See,
was never an
this is
Avenger.
the craziest part about it. No, I mean, in the books he's an Avenger.
That's what I
In the
meant
books,
in the
yeah,
books.
in the books he's Ant-Man. There's no Scott Lang. I mean, Scott Lang is there for probably one episode. I mean, one comic book when he steals. He finds Hank Pym's Ant-Man armor and Pym particles, and he steals it, and that was it. He's just a very clever thief. Stole it. That's about it, and off to the next. But it has really nothing to do with this guy, and I don't know why Marvel chose to write a whole world or synopsis around the thief character who is not that bright. He is not that bright. And Hank Pym is probably one of the brightest minds in the Marvel universe. He came up with Pym particles. This dude don't know how Pym particles work. All he knows is how to get small and how to get big.
Literally, he just knows how to use a suit. That's all. Like, he knows how to press
it's
a button on the suit.
If something happens to the suit, he can't make a suit. Come on, man.
So, all right. Now that we've talked about the expectations, here's how I felt about it. I think Kang was so underutilized in this movie, and like stuff didn't make sense. Sometimes I felt like he was living to his potential, and then sometimes it didn't make sense of what was going on. I also feel like the story behind what happened 30 years didn't make sense to why things are going on the way it is. Like, ironically she goes with them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It felt like a lot of coincidence.
Too much.
Coincidence here, coincidence there. And let's get to the world. I did like the world. I felt like the world was built well. But there were certain mechanics in it that, Kang is clearly in charge of this world. I do like how, they kind of give you the bait and switch. Yeah. Where she's like, well, I'm going to go see a friend. And they show you that scene at the beginning where she's meeting Kang. Yeah. And you think it's them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, all I want to say is the world that they built in here was very unique. It's just everything in it didn't work out.
Well, the world, you know what it felt like? It felt like Star Wars Light, right?
It did. If you remember at the end where the big thing come through, it kind of felt like a walker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like an AT-AT. It's this Disney, man, you're running out of stuff because this world could have been so much better, right? The reason why I say that, okay, so we have Guardians of the Galaxy, and we pretty much have established parameters when it comes to the space stuff, right? They on nowhere. Nowhere is head of a celestial where they harvest the brain matter as far as currency and stuff like that goes. All right, good. And everything that spawns from there, you have the Nova Corps, which is the police. You have the Kree. Okay, we know where the Kree are, and we have the Skrulls. We know where the Skrulls are.
It is kind of crazy how well that movie branched out into the actual MCU. Right. And this movie did it a little bit, but it's just like none of these characters were memorable. Like none of them. Some of them were, that's cool, but it's like none of them. I was like, I want to see them in a movie, or they have their own movie. All of them was like, okay, thank God that we're done. Like,
did you care about any of them?
No, I didn't.
So you didn't care about the world ending or not? So that was the whole thing that when Kang was saying, it makes no sense. He said, you can go to your family now. I won't mess with your timeline. Made no sense.
That's not Kang.
Well, that's Kang the Conqueror.
That's what I'm saying. That's not Kang. Like, Kang, the way I've been told, Kang's mentality is he's deceitful, and if anything is going to mess with his reality, what he envisions the future, it doesn't matter what he says. He's getting you up out of there.
Well, he would have sent her home. It was two different things he would have done that. Regardless to what, his goal was something else, to be honest with you. And we're going to get to that part. But his goals was something else. We have 31 watching. We only have 20 likes. Wipe your feet before you come inside this house. I'm really pissed off. And if you want all the energy, please hit that like button. Share it out. Let everybody know what's going on. It's I'm disgruntled. I'm disgruntled in the portrayal of some of the characters. I'm disgruntled in the world building, and Kang himself, he's an honorable man, but he's a man for his own means, right? So his own means was to get what was lost, right? And Scott Lang was only person that was able to do it, or the only person dumb enough to go get it for him. And I guess that's the only reason why you have this guy play Ant-Man, because he's dumb enough to go get Kang something that he wants, because Hope Pym wouldn't have been dumb enough to go get.
And if what the daughter even do in this movie? Like,
they was force feeding us.
Would the daughter even realistically? Okay, let's just get to Spoilercast. Like,
get to it, because Miley Cyrus?
I don't know who that was. Look.
She looks
the biggest issue I had in this movie was how they portrayed Kang. Early on, they made you think he was this force to be reckoned with.
He is.
And I get it, huh?
He is. Okay.
And I get it. There was a lot of ants. There's a point in the movie where there's a bunch of ants that are attacking Kang. To me, those ants should have been swarming him but not doing any damage. Because to me, those ants don't far send his technology. You know what I'm saying? Like, you mean to tell he's getting hit by countless things in this movie, and nothing's damaging, but some ants are able to like destroy half his armor. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Well,
made no sense how this was going down.
I can give you a pushback off of that, right? We know in the ant world what ants do is they overwhelm, right? And they keep chipping away until they can actually find a weakness. And they did find a weakness, and it was one ant that used a certain weapon that they invented. Remember, this tech, ants were making this tech, and they were there for thousands of years, right? So Hank said when it was falling down into the rabbit hole. So thousands of years they elevated and grew that the tech that they had when they went into the world. So the evolution of the tech should be on par with whatever Kang was using, because at that period of time, Kang is using future tech from the year, what is it, 30, 35, something like that. That armor is from that far. So they were very advanced, these ants were. So they were
I feel
hitting
you.
them
It's
with
just
advanced
like
armory.
the stuff that they were attacking them with, like they had like the little beam stuff and like the little kind of like lightsaber
Yeah, think
antlers.
about it.
But to me, they held. Oh, Paris Lockhart said this movie was great.
Paris, you should have been here. Paris, would you like to join, sir?
We're gonna have to disagree with you on that one, Paris.
I mean, I would love to get your rebuttal here.
It's just, I think to me, when it comes to this movie, is I'm just like, I expected more from Kang, and it's not the actor. The actor did fantastic. I expected better writing for him.
What do you
Like,
mean, the build up to him?
yeah, I didn't get it. I liked his persona at the beginning, but I felt like at the end, like this man has been trying to get out of the Quantumania, whatever they want to call it, for thousands of years or whatever it is, 30 years. And
30 plus years. Look,
he had the opportunity to leave, but instead he went over there and started hitting Ant-Man over and over again.
Look,
like to
I
me,
have Ant-Man right here, right?
mm-hmm.
And you see those little antennae? Those little antennae talk to ants, right? Talk to ants. I have ants over there. I have a giant Ant-Man, and I have this little one. This one comes with XM Studios. How the hell are you going to have an Ant-Man movie where he controls no ants?
Yeah, to me, I think the biggest thing I just wanted is I wanted just someone, because obviously this is going to be the new Thanos of this saga.
Oh, he's going to definitely.
But to me, this is one of the first portrays of him, besides that little bit in Loki, where I expected to see this man shine, and I thought he shined at certain parts of the movie. But you mean Thanos? Let's take Thanos. Thanos fought Iron Man, Spider-Man, all the Guardians of the Galaxy, all at once, and this man couldn't take Ant-Man.
Well,
so, but you see what I'm saying? Like people have been hyping this individual like he's this dude to be reckoned with, and then when I actually see him, he gets took out by ants, and he gets and he can't take on Ant-Man in a one-on-one fight.
He was beating the brakes off of Paul Rudd.
I feel you. I feel you. But
Jane came in and saved him. He was beat.
But like I said, Thanos took on like 8 people. Like.
Yeah, but okay, so you're talking about the MacGuffin for the movie. We got to go how the directors want to go, how the directors want to take us, right? It's the same thing with the writers in comic books. We can always have this should have been done this way or this should have been done that way, but it's always ultimately up to the writers. And the writers wanted to give you that tension where Paul Rudd, was he going to live? Was he going to die? Was he going to be stranded here? What was he going to do? Was he willing to sacrifice and give up more of himself in order to beat Kang? And like you said, I don't have to beat you. I just have to make sure none of us win.
Yeah, and shout out to how they at the end, they make you feel like, okay, they defeated Kang, but they can't go back. And then they're just sitting there, and then the portal just opens right behind them.
Well, remember, she built the triangular ability for the beacon. in order to go down there and to retrieve. So she already had these signatures built into the computer, and she was able to triangulate and
See,
send a portal
okay,
down there to get them.
Paris said, Kang without tech, he is a normal man like Iron Man. This Kang here was one of the
Yes.
worst ones. Then
No,
why
he
did
was
he
way
get
better than Iron Man.
banished by the best ones?
Okay. He got banished because that's Kang the Conqueror. He's the one that incites excuse me. He incites the violence. He incites the riot. He wants to be head of the tribunal. I couldn't even believe that they did the tribunal of Kangs. That within itself was
Talk about the end scene, the end
yeah,
credit scene. That was cool. I like that.
where
See, I know where they're
the
going
orders.
with it. I do. It's just, to me, as a non-comic book reader that don't know anything, just the face value of Kang, he seems like one of the worst villains ever in the MCU at the moment.
Well, you wanted
like
him
in
to be
form of power, in form of threat.
Right.
He just seems like one of the worst.
Well, the threat is real. He kills Avengers. He kills.
I did like
them.
how he was like,
you
I'm
the
an
one with the
Avenger. He's
hammer?
like, well, which Avenger are you? He's like, I've killed so many. Are you the one with the hammer?
Yeah, like you blend in over a period of time. He's really everything that you think that he's supposed to be, right? Kang is a man. The armor and the tech, the future tech that he does have, and that machine, his chronological machine, that machine allows him to be who he is.
So
so without that tech, he is just a normal man.
So I think this is where my disconnect is personally.
Right.
Is, keep in mind, I don't. The only time I know anything about comic book stuff is if I look up a video because King told me to brush up on a character.
Right.
First thoughts of Thanos. You saw him in the ship fighting the Hulk. That was like that wasn't the first time you saw him, but that was the first real time you saw him.
Yeah, but he had the Power Stone.
He wasn't using it. He fought him one-on-one and was not using those stones.
But he's also a Titan.
No, but I'm not referring to this or that. I'm referring to just face value.
Right.
When you see Thanos for the first time, you show how dominant he is. He's sitting there taking on the Hulk one-on-one, and he could have easily jumped the Hulk, but Thanos is like, no, I'm going to fight this dude one-on-one. And that was the first time we seen that man. The first time we seen this dude, it's just like, I like certain moments with him, like when they were in those prisons and he was using his powers to throw them. Why he use that? Like the whole movie after that.
Well, his armor was broken.
I still can't get on with the ants breaking that armor. I don't know why. I can't jump on that.
It had thousands of years to advance the tech. Like, you're looking at them as simple ants. They're highly intelligent. They didn't even look like the ants that went in. Remember,
then at that point,
aged over a period of time.
Then at that point, if there were thousands of them and they got his armor off, why didn't they kill him?
He got away from him. He that strong.
Well, so he was able to get away from them.
Yeah, but he was getting back to his machine. Listen, I didn't write the script. That's why I told you it's piss poor. I'm telling you it's piss poor. I'm telling you from a fan perspective, it's a piss poor script. I'm sorry. It could have been 1,000 times better. But they failed to. They keep on with these movements. These. If this is the start of Phase 5, then scrap the whole Phase 5 because it's just like Phase 4.
I still have hope for MCU. I know a lot of people are down on MCU right now. I think this movie could look, in the overall sensation to this, going into other, MC projects, to the Avengers. They did a good job showing Kang as a threat at the end with his little get together thing. I don't know. You said it had a name. I didn't catch it.
Yeah, you call the council. It's called the Council of Kangs.
The Council of Kang.
That's Kangs
that was
from
that single scene show. Okay, Kang isn't an issue because of one individual. He's an issue because of the whole conglomerate together.
When they work together, see, they have worked together to get him out. They have worked together to banish him to the quantum realm. And they successfully got him. And
so, do you think they'll free this dude? Because I don't think he's dead.
He's not dead.
Yeah. Is this supposed to be the Kang that ends up being the biggest issue in the end?
Okay, so you thought he was supposed to be the one who remains, the one that was in
Yes.
Loki? That's not him. That's why the one who remains said, "Oh, my next variant, that one," because he knows about Ramatut. That was the Egyptian-looking one. He knows about the Scarlet Centurion. That was the blue one. I don't know why he was blue. He's supposed to be red.
Okay.
And he knows about Immortus. Right? Those three are the head of the council, and the rest of the kings that you saw there are kings from different timelines and different possibilities. All there. That happened in the book. I forgot what book. I think it was Avengers or
So
Fantastic Four Avengers something 128. I believe.
okay, then explain to me the difference between why some Kanes look identical and some look Egyptian and some look like a cyborg. Like,
Oh,
what's the?
okay.
Is it like pretty much 1,000 Kanes going in one life and just some makes decisions
Yeah,
that
whatever
alter the
choices
life?
that they make. So
Okay.
when I forgot his original name. When Kane goes back in time, he goes back when he first gets attacked. He goes back to Egypt, ancient Egypt times, and he goes there and he rules over them as a pharaoh, as Ramatut. And Fantastic Four comes and outs him. So maybe we'll get that timeline and that fight with the Fantastic Four versus Ramatut. Then you have the Scarlet Centurion. That came about, I think, after like a Doctor Doom situation. Doctor Doom had him like disguise himself as a Scarlet Centurion. That was the guy that was in the blue with his skin pulled back that looked like RoboCop from the
Hold up.
three.
Let me. Actually, I will bring
You got a
up.
picture?
I'm sure there's a picture of all three of them.
All right.
Keep
And
going.
then Immortus. Immortus is like the last king. Now he's not the last that remains, but he's the last king, the most you say the eldest king, the one who tries to manipulate the most. He's the most conniving. Uh he's a good king. And there's different timelines that you can actually get a chance to see these, like in Kang Dynasty and these books. But for the most part, Kang will keep coming at you with different tech, and he will definitely overtake you at some point in time because he understands how the future will go. Now, I know you're going to say why he didn't know about the ants. He didn't know about the ants because all those stuff turns into variables and started breaking off into different paths and different timelines. So inevitably, it started a whole different timeline because he probably had a timeline when he got out of there. Did you
It.
find it yet?
No, it's actually hard to find. What was the Egyptian's name?
Ramatut. Want me to Google it up?
Yeah, go ahead, because I'm having a hard time
All
finding.
right, I'll do it.
I mean, I feel you. I do, and I know that this is just one of those things where it's like I gotta have faith in the end thing. You know how they make these characters in the end. But like to me, as just watching the Marvel aspect of it, it's just not looking good. Like I'm not saying it's not going to be good. I'm just saying from a perspective of seeing Kang on screen for the first time, I expected like a similar to better experience when I first saw Thanos. Because people told me that this dude is way more of an issue than Thanos. But to me, I didn't get that. Like I really didn't get, he's a huge issue. I got Ant-Man and Wasp could take this dude on. Like that's what I
Well,
got.
with
Like,
broken armor. Now, when he first came down, he walked down and he was zapping people out of existence. If they would have showed up when he was zapping people out of existence before those ants showed up, they wouldn't have stood a chance.
I feel you, but to me, breaking his armor in the very first time you see him is not a good look either.
No, it's definitely not.
I personally felt like this man should have had full reign in this movie. Like
And then what happens?
Huh? It
I
just
said,
no.
and then what happens?
You could even have a scenario where they get out and he slept in the quantum realm, but he's that strong. You know what I'm saying? But to me, you saw him show a little bit of his strength, And then he ended up fighting people on that thing, and the ants just took him out, took all of his powers. Like,
All right, so
and then from then on, you don't really see anything going on after that.
I got a question. They left him down there. The ants are still in charge, right? Well, the ants is helping the world down there, and he's still down there, right? And then we're gonna find out how he's going to get free, because we got to watch Loki. When he gets out, because remember, his whole goal was to get revenge on the council. I'm getting the council. That's all he wanted. He did not care about anything else. What do you think his thoughts is going to be right now on Ant-Man? Because I was expecting Ant-Man to die. I don't like Scott Lang, right? So
yeah, his stories come out too happy ever after. Like, I feel like there's got to be sometimes bad stuff happens. Like, it's just how it is. Like,
yeah, I mean, if they're gonna do it, then do it. I was expecting him to die. I was expecting his daughter, because they're pushing you in that direction, that his daughter actually takes over the mantle, because he no longer has the guts to be Ant-Man. He no longer wants to fight for the weak, like he says. He wants to write a book. You know, he wants to sit down on his laurels. So I expected. I expected him to die. I don't think Disney didn't have the balls to pull off an Ant-Man movie. If you have a bunch of B-rated actors and you want an A-tier AAA movie, then you're going to have to go for the gusto at some point in time. And don't rely on your big bad with this Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors needed a protagonist that was on equal footing for him to lose to. And that wasn't it. And that's what you're having a hard time to deal with, because how the hell is Ant-Man beating the next Thanos? And I'm with you.
It's not even like remotely on that. It's like, I get it, you know, hand to hand, Thanos, that Kang was giving him that work. But to me, if it like Ant-Man was sitting there fighting Thanos and Wasp showed up, they ain't stopping nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and I get it. Things, yeah. They disarmed him, but at the same time, you shown people like me, oh, this dude ain't nothing without that suit. Okay, he lame without that suit. Okay, like, it's like, this is not a good first impression of power. Like, I feel you build up this entity to be this almighty, to be the dude that overtook the rest. The one that was so strong that he was banished, because that's the way that they were making it seem in this movie. But then some ants took him out, and Ant-Man and Wasp took him out.
Okay, like, so listen, y'all don't listen to Attic, because Attic is going to tell you some ants took him out. Like, some regular street ants jumped on top of him and had some cookie cutters and got rid of him. And yeah, I feel you, Killian Brown. Doom should have been next. Yeah, Doom is in there, because where Kang lies, Doom hides.
I have a feeling if they would have had the Fantastic Four property sooner, they probably would have had Doom. I think this is all, they like to do stuff, but they don't have access to those properties at that time.
I don't think they want to do Doom in this cycle, in this phase 5. Until they out of this cycle and they get to the Fantastic Four, and the Fantastic Four has been initiated, because I think they want to do Doom World. I think they want to do Battle World. I think they want to branch off in that area and have God tier Doom like I got over there. So no. And Doom is not someone that you do lightly. The same way with Kang. You guys might be down on Kang right now, and it's not no regular ants that took him out. Okay, so these are ants that had thousands of years of evolution with tech that they went inside the world with, and they evolved this tech, and they used that tech to attack. And just imagine ants with the tech of Jedis and stormtroopers, and they run inside your house. That's exactly what it was.
I feel you, and they had that weaponry. Makes sense, but at the same time, the only thing we really saw Kang
beat Thanos.
The only thing we only really saw Kang do in this movie, besides that first thing, is defend himself from the ants, beat up Ant-Man for 2 minutes, and Wasp and Ant-Man own this man. Like that's all we saw almost the entire movie.
I mean, I can't fight you because I don't like the movie in the
It's like
sense of that fight.
it's like that GIF where that dude's throwing the L's. Like,
Yeah, listen, I think the whole movie is an L. That's just my opinion of it. Uh, I'm having a hard time dealing with it because my expectations for the film were so much better. I thought they were going to finally allow him to be who he's supposed to be, and not this. Just stay to the fundamentals of the law of what is written. Stay to the fundamentals, man. Ant-Man is Ant-Man. He's not Giant Man. Giant Man is a totally different character within that whole persona. But again, you cannot go from big to small to. It's a wear and tear on the body. It's a psychological destroyer. So why don't we stick to the script?
didn't you love how like the daughter had her suit for like half a movie and learned how to become big?
And just showed it and didn't know how to use it. Excuse me. It was just. I don't like them pushing characters on you. They've done this. They could have had a Disney Plus series showing her doing something way before this happened. They could have explored her. They could have made you care about this character. You did not care about her. I did not care about Paul Rudd. I did not care about Hope. I did not care about any of them. And one dude I did care about was Hank, and I'm like, man, they doing Hank real dirty. But Hank had his redemption, in this, because Hank is probably the smartest person next to Reed Richards, Tony Stark, and Spider-Man in this universe. And Amadeus Cho. Come on, man.
All right, so let's get to nitty and gritty. Let's talk about MCU and the condition that the franchise is in after this movie. Do you think it improved, it got worse, or do you think, the ending is going to justify the beginning and it didn't really move the needle, but it didn't move it down either and it didn't help? So how do you feel about the MCU in general?
The depiction of Kang was incredible. Like the depiction, the armor, the regalness, his arrogance, the depiction of MODOK was spot on. I'm so happy they didn't run away from making a screen accurate MODOK.
I think the only thing I didn't like about MODOK is like the character development was kind of weird. Like he's bad all this movie, and then he has one conversation with the daughter, and now he wants to be good. It takes more than one conversation, unless you're Naruto, to convince someone to not be bad.
And how she did it was just so stupid. It was so stupid. I just kept waiting for her to break out into song and breaking like a wrecking ball, looking like Miley Cyrus. I was just so over it. The MCU is always in good hands because they always have the literature to fall back on. They can always run back to the paperwork to write the ship. They can get sick and tired of directors trying their hand at this. Hey, Kev, I have an idea, and how about this? I don't want the how about this director going up into the office anymore. So I have high hopes for Guardians of the Galaxy because that's James Gunn's last film in Marvel. So I think it's going to be a stellar experience.
Do you think that the golden days of the MCU might be over?
Nah. What it is you're seeing characters get old. And this is the fear. When you lock these people in for years and you watch them grow old. I mean, I saw, Paul Rudd, old. I saw the actress of that played Hope van Dyne, old. Nobody wants to see a 50-year-old Spider-Man swinging in there. That's why they always, cast new. So they have to they have to recycle the actors and actresses. They have to do it. They have to do it going forward. They have to get back to uh, leading men and leading women. They have to go back to that. That stuff is very fundamental and very necessary. If you're going to build somebody up, if you're going to go into world building, they could have did small world building, very simple, the quantum world, and we could have got that in Disney Plus. They didn't do that. They didn't care enough to do that. But no, I got Mia and the Devil Dinosaur on Disney Plus. You could have taken the time to give us enough backstory and enough good uh, material to work with going into this film, because this 2.5 hour film did not fill in the gaps that are it's too many holes. Too many holes. Pause. And what the little guy said, now I got holes. Now I can do this. It's just is the golden years past? No. They do have great stories that they can tell. They can definitely 100% go to the source material and give you good material going forward.
I think one of the biggest issues that we're having in general is this is new territory for Marvel to rebuild the universe after they did the climax of the Thanos saga.
Mm-hmm.
So, at least at the beginning, it was fresh. When you're seeing Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, all these characters introduced in the MCU, it was fresh. We never seen something like that. But now, since the Thanos saga's over and they're rebuilding that same infrastructure, we've seen it before already. So it's just like we're comparing this person to Iron Man, this person to Thor, and it's just, I don't think that their characters not necessarily are not hitting. It's just we haven't had enough screen time and enough character development, because we can't compare these movies.
This is the third movie for Scott Lang.
We can't compare these movies to Endgame and the Infinity War.
I wasn't doing that.
Well, I see a lot of people are doing that. Like, they're comparing the top of all of MCU to the newer stuff. And it's like, look, like, it's going to be hard for them to come across and win that. And I think it's like I said, it's, there might be a little bit of MCU fatigue going on. I don't necessarily believe in that. I think if you always make something good, people are always going to enjoy it.
Do you think this was good?
This one wasn't good. No.
Thank you. I mean, a good movie is going to stand on its own twos, and this was not a good movie.
And I think that's the biggest issue is you're rebuilding new people to take over the old people. And the only person you really have that's like from that original group at this point, I would say, is like Doctor Strange.
His movie was decent.
Yeah, I actually think this movie's worse than Doctor Strange Madness.
It is. It is.
And I thought that movie was horrible. Like
it is. And it sucks so bad. It's just Phase 5 is off to a rocky start. Guardians should
hopefully
fix it. Okay, because all right, what you always want in every MCU movie is for them to introduce at least 3 characters, right? So, okay, this is Kang's first screen debut, big screen debut, because we're not going to count the Loki series, because if you didn't watch the Loki series, you don't know anything about Kang, right? All right, so they introduced Kang, they introduced MODOK, and they introduced Scott Lang's daughter, Cassie, as potential to be the new Ant-Man, Giant Man, or whatever.
And he was low-key training her during the movie.
Right, because he was teaching her. But man, because you saw what she did, and he was like, come on, man, did you see what I did? You see how I do it? You click and pop. You click and pop. So we did get the 3 characters, right? Now, Kang is definitely going to span across a larger role inside everything. Will she play a large role as far, Cassie, will she play a large role and MODOK has to have a revamping because he's not dead, right? Something is going to happen. He has to get back to his form. He has to get back to control. MODOK is a B tier villain, and he was handled like a F tier villain, right? So he's a B tier villain, and they really need to just get back to his core. I think MODOK was mishandled. Kang, I thought, was handled properly, from introduction to persona to clothing to everything. And Cassie was handled a little weak, but we when we get the Young Avengers, we should see a little bit more from that character. I honestly feel that a better script could have been written. I wanted to see more of the quantum verse. Why is all these innuendos about Jane Van Dyne's time in the quantum realm? All the time that she spent with Kang, and then all the time that she spent with the governor dude. What's going on here? Then why are their buildings alive? Is it organic matter that they live in? So many different plot holes that was open, and these stuff could have been easily filled with junkets and different short films that they could have dropped in Disney Plus. This movie needed a support, and it didn't get the support. And yeah, they're gonna do Young Avengers, so you can sit there and think they're not gonna do Young Avengers. You're going to get a young version of Kang the Conqueror in that Iron Man suit. You're going to get Wiccan and the Scarlet Witch kids. You're going to get what is it, that the Hulkling. You're going to get Cassie as Ant-Man. All of it is setting up. If you just open your eyes and see, they're setting up Young Avengers. Young Avengers is coming.
Do you? I got a question. Do you think
He
that
said they'll be old?
Do you think that with this Flash and James Gunn over there, and looks like he's setting a lot of right things, do you think that if those movies start being successful, MCU might change things up, or do you think they even care what's going over there?
What's funny is this is ironic. James Gunn is Kang the Conqueror. They banished him over there to the Quantumverse, and he's gonna build the Quantumverse. He's gonna build an army. After this Flash film is out and Shazam is done, that Blue Beetle is gonna tell you exactly who this man is. And honestly, if he
When
can
does that
make
come out?
Blue Beetle hit, they're in trouble. Because, like it or not, DC has more iconic characters than
Way more.
Marvel because they have gods. Hold on. Hollywood rules with the $2 super chat. King, agree no more directors going off the Brent. Yeah, I'm with you. No more directors doing their own thing. How about this? Well, perhaps we should try this. I'm with you. I'm with you, Hollywood. And thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate it.
Do you think Kang would have been a better villain if he he would have been shown better if he was in a proper setting, like maybe a Doctor Strange movie or something, like an Avenger that has a little bit more oomph to him than Ant-Man?
No, I think this was perfect. I think that this showed you the Council of Kangs. It showed you why they banished him there, because he can't see time and space there. He can't see anything. That's why he couldn't see the ants coming. He can't see anything there. He can't see any timelines. He can't see what's branching, what's happening.
He pretty much sees what's in front of him.
Right. So he's at the mercy. That's why he wants to get out of there so bad. And they knew by banishing them here, they can isolate him. And I think it's necessary for the development of this character and where they want to go with him. I like Kang a lot, so I'm not so far removed from the powers of Kang. So I know what he can do.
No, I like the persona of Kang, and I like the powers he had. I just would have preferred him to be a little bit more dominant in this movie. That's all. We got a $2 super from Hollywood Rules. I also think we were spoiled by Infinity War Endgame. That's my point. I feel like we are at a point with the MCU where it's like, yo, like this is some of the best. That part at the end of Endgame where they did the the portals opening, all the Avengers assemble.
To
To
my
me,
left.
that's the greatest moment in cinema history.
Yeah.
Like that is years and years of build up. That's one of the greatest moments.
It was a nice build up. And the only way you got on your left is if you watch Captain America and you understood where him and Falcon was with it. And he was just running past Falcon when when it was jogging in the park, and he was like, on your left. So those little things, those little breadcrumbs that led you all the way up to here, we're getting little breadcrumbs. We don't know what breadcrumbs we're getting. That's going to be callbacks when we do get a chance to see Kang Dynasty and the Secret Wars. Those movies are going to be culminations of all these other movies building up to those big epic spots. We're still in the build up phase. Nobody
Yeah,
said anything when Iron Man was fighting Whiplash, talking about, oh, this is
it's
a
like I said,
trash
because
movie.
that was new. Like, see,
Right.
now we have experience in the past where, like, in a way, it seemed like we don't want to be patient because we was patient then, but that's not how movies. That's how like build up works.
So
Like,
you just want us? We want to just get to the dessert,
yeah, that's not how build up works though. They
right?
gotta have they gotta sprinkle it to you, man. They gotta season the meat. They can't just give you the meat. Like,
Yeah. Pause.
oh my god.
Can't be out here just giving out raw meat. Pause. You did that. I'm just here for the comedy relief. That was all you. We're gonna clip that part. That's gonna be on the TikTok. I can't be out
So,
here giving out raw meat.
When it comes to it, man, like we got to get to it. Let's get off non-spoilers, so we're done with the spoilers.
Right.
What we thinking about popcorn, man?
3 for me is a
three
3
popcorn.
because they did basics what I expect. Introduce 3 characters, establish a hierarchy and a pathway and where we're going. They gave you 2 end credit scenes, and they established where you're going to go next. The next place that you're going to go to Loki, right? You're going to go watch the series of Loki. So if you didn't watch last series of Loki, you're going to go watch that to understand exactly who's Kang and he who remains. You have to see this. So they did the stuff that was necessary. Did they go above and beyond? Did they blow me away? No, they didn't. I expect them, and this is putting a lot of weight on Guardians of the Galaxy. But with Guardians of the Galaxy, I expect a hell of a lot, being James Gunn's last film, being a couple of these characters probably last screen time. I expect a lot. So yeah, going into the future, I feel that they're fine. They did what they were supposed to do. This movie gets a 3 popcorn from me. I would have loved to have given it a 4 and a 5, but the substance and the plot holes was just too much for me to ignore.
I give it a 3 too. It's like I said, the only big thing I have an issue with is how they handled Kang in certain aspects. I like his character. I just wanted to see more of the reason everyone fears him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But they don't know they fear him yet.
Well, but I get that. But when what's her name was saying the whole time, we can't stop him. He can't be stopped. And then I guess maybe it's because I'm coming from the outside looking in, and people telling me what to expect,
Right.
and I'm not seeing that on the screen.
But all right, so the fact that he dominated and conquered and oppressed a small section of the quantum verse, right? Because that's a small section of the quantum verse that he dominated and subjugated, right? And we didn't get a chance to see what he did to become that dystopian king. Now, when she got a chance to touch the machine, when she was turning it on, she got a chance to see his atrocities and the things and the stuff that he committed throughout all his timelines as he was going on becoming Kang the Conqueror. and she got a chance to see exactly how horrific and how brutal and how maniacal this guy is. That's where her fear lies.
I think that what they could have did to win me over a little bit more is like maybe have like, instead of showing a bunch, show like one detailed scene where he was just so powerful no one can mess with him. You know what I'm saying? That way, because that was my thing, is people saying this is going to be the next Thanos, this is the main bad guy for this saga. I'm thinking in this movie, I'm like, oh, King about to mess up everyone. Like, it's not going to be a fight.
You got to think about it this too. Thanos, without those Infinity Stones, was not beating Avengers.
I feel you.
Was not. You would have saw him get mollywopped all over the place if he did not have those Infinity Stones. He had the Infinity Stones that gave him the leg up. They gave him the ability to fight all these heroes at one time. And that was a build up to that point, because when he was sitting in the chair, floating in the sky, talking to Loki, you did not know the capabilities of this character at all.
So
I mean, and then when you got a chance to see him fight the Hulk, you was like, oh, well, he's that guy.
So just to clarify, the one at the end of Loki, that was the strongest one because he won the war.
He's just the one that remains.
But he won.
He was the smartest one.
Oh my God, I'm so confused.
he was the smartest Kang. See, it's not about strength with Kang. It's about how he can manipulate you out of your position. I mean, he has all the weaponry that he can pull back and he can use. But to outsmart and to kill the other Kangs, you have to be smarter than. Right? And
they're all smart.
Yeah, well, they all the same person.
There's just certain experiences made some of them more unique than others.
Yeah.
I feel you. And that's like I said, I'm not shitting on Kang. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to see more dominant Kang than I wanted. Like when he was in that room, like I said, he threw Ant-Man and Homegirl against the wall. I wanted to see that in a bigger way in the end. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like,
but the suit was damaged.
I get that, but that's not my fault. Like,
right? But when
it's not my fault the script writers decided it was a good idea to break the lead honcho suit in the first time you really see him do anything. Like,
how are you going to stop him? You have to be able to stop him.
Could we agree that he could have had his own little thing going on, then maybe break his suit? Not break his suit off the bat, walk on the field, breaks his suit. That doesn't do anything. Walks on the field, defends himself of a barrier, then breaks his suit, gets broke.
You know you're going to have a lot of people coming to hate you after
this. That's fine.
They're going to come for you because that's pure cap. He was doing a whole bunch of stuff up until that point. And yeah, 1,000-year-old ants coming there with
you know what he was doing, King?
What?
You know what he was doing? He was ordering other people to do something else. Yo, put the guns on, shoot. Don't let him come this far. Like, that's what he was doing. Like,
yeah, and he was just like his biggest asset is to be able to predict the future and the timelines, to know exactly what's going to happen. That's his biggest asset.
If I remember correctly, in the Loki show, he said he knew everything up to a certain point, and then he's like, I don't know anything after this. Like,
after this point, I don't know. And he said, yeah, you kill me. Be careful. Same thing with the movie.
So you're pretty much saying that, because there's a character in Bleach that they brought back the new anime that's kind of similar. Mm-hmm. He could see a certain amount of into the future. Now, obviously, it's different type of powers, but you're saying that he's pretty much in there in the like his key component he doesn't have. It's like Thor fighting without the hammer.
He's fighting with one hand behind his back.
It's like Thor fighting without the hammer.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel you on that. You know, maybe I need to see more of Kang not being restrained.
If you listen to him, he said, I killed so many Avengers. So many of them.
That's cool, but that was done off screen, fam. I don't care. Like, no, you can say what you want. First off, you was with a bunch of other Kangs. That's why they got you up out of there. How do I know they like 15 of you didn't jump one Thor? Like, I gotta see it to believe it, and I didn't see it, so I don't believe it.
He said, "Wait, Just wait until it all unfolds, and for the love of God, stop listening to the so-called leakers or the people who swear they know info about
I
these
don't
movies,
actually
and
keep
stop
up with
letting these
leaks
people make.
in the movie
Nah, we
industry.
don't do that. And anything we
We
do
might
have,
talk about like rumored like castings, or
that's about it.
we might talk about leaks going on forward, because that's content. Like, here's the thing. People clown on people for talking like in the gaming industry and the movie industry while you're talking about leaks. That's their job. Like,
Yeah,
it's to talk about the latest stuff that's going on in the industry and give their opinion on if they think it's a good idea or not if it happens. Now, I think you're more referring to like the Jeff Grubbs over there, where they're actually saying this isn't what I think is good or bad. This is what's happening. I think you're referring to more like the insiders in the movie industry. But I'm not referring to them really.
that wasn't Kane at his weakest. I'm gonna beg to differ. That wasn't Kang at his weakness. The weakest. Trust. Kang had his tech. It was there.
And that's
He
another
was
thing.
not able to predict the ants. You saw the highest form of ants you're ever gonna see, right? Ants with tech that evolved it thousands of years. When you see the movie, you'll understand that the ants was very formidable. These are formidable ants. My only problem is, why the hell isn't Ant-Man controlling the ants? Why is Hank Pym controlling the ants? Oh, because he's Ant-Man. So why the hell do we have Scott Lang? I'm just saying.
I feel you. Well, that's pretty much all I got for this, man. It's like I said, maybe I just had like unrealistic expectations to how he was actually gonna pull things off, and it has nothing to do with like Kang or Ant-Man. I don't really know Ant-Man as like the controlling person that controls ants, and I think that's what infuriates you, because I don't watch comics,
I
and
got a whole thing with ants.
I didn't even know he controlled ants till you said it on the show. So like, and
listen,
I think that's the issue you have.
He was flying on the back of ants. He was able to. I'm just.
Because I remember they did a little bit of that in the first Ant-Man.
That's it. Just so. This is his name. It's not because he gets small as size of ants. No, he controls ants.
I thought they called him Ant-Man because he gets small to the size of an ant, not because he controls.
No, man. Listen. He gets small. He flies on the back of ants. Wasp has the wasp sting, and she has the wings. You're going to a time when making characters they talked about the ability. Oh, he crawls the wall. He shoot webs. Spider-Man, not that hard. Oh, he shrinks and he controls ants. Ant-Man, not that hard.
Paris got you. He said, well, Spider-Man does not have anything to do with spiders. Well, he kind of like that's not entirely true. His abilities originate from spiders, like being able to like stick himself to the wall. I don't know if that's exactly how it went.
Watch the Spideyverse, and there are Spider-Men that actually control spiders.
I forgot. I haven't watched that in a minute.
Stop, and you know it. Stop it.
I think that might have been directed towards me too, because I said his name was because he can get the size of an ant. So
and Batman doesn't control bats. Yes, he does. He doesn't have any powers, but he does have machines where he actually can have bats. Remember, he had all the bats swirling around him, stuff like that, as he in the Batcave, even though he's batophobic or something like that.
Just saying in the MCU. Oh yeah, I feel you. I just think that when it comes to this, they just gotta do better. That's all. Like, tighten up on the script writing. I didn't really see too much of anything that was like done for any reasons, and so I think that the movie was a solid movie. It's just I honestly do feel like this has been one of the worst MCU movies in a while.
Thank you.
And and what's funny is the reason I call it a solid movie is because no one else is making anything remotely good these days. Like, the MCU is probably single-handedly keeping the movie industry up right now, the theater industry up right now.
Listen, a stinky movie is not gonna save the box office. This is a stinky movie. I don't think it's going to do very well. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I thought Black Adam was better than this.
I can't go that far. I think this movie was better than Black Adam.
You thought this movie was better than Black Adam?
Yeah, I didn't like Black Adam.
Oh, I did. I thought Black Adam, because I'm a huge fan of the character, and I thought The Rock pulled it off. I think somebody manipulated the numbers. I think somebody manipulated the numbers to get him out of there. Because I don't know. I didn't have as much angst about that movie than I do have this. But listen, we have a ton of movies coming this year.
Someone said Top Gun Maverick was good. I didn't see Avatar, but it's making money. I'm not saying that the Marvel things are the only things keeping the movie theaters up, but let's be real here. Like, up until this year, it's been hit and miss every year. Like, and just think about that. How many people in this chat went to the movies to see a non-Marvel movie? It doesn't happen often. I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
If you get the Game Pass,
but it doesn't happen often.
You can do it. And hopefully we get sponsored by them. Hey, Regal.
So what's going on, King? What you doing this week?
Okay, well, I don't know. I gotta pull up this app. I'm gonna see another movie that we can go check out on Friday. I'll let you know exactly what we'll be talking about next week, because I know the week after that we'll be talking about Creed 3. So Creed 3 comes out on 3/3/23.
You gonna make me go watch a boxing movie?
Yes, I am gonna make you go watch a boxing movie. You know why? Guess who's playing in it? Kang the Conqueror. Jonathan Majors is inside.
Hopefully he'll be more dominant in that movie than he is in this movie.
Apparently he looks crazy dominant. He looks like what's this guy? Clubber Lang. He looks like Creed's Clubber Lang in this film. I can't wait. And that's Mr. T. If you didn't know who Clubber Lang was. I can't wait for this film. I thought this film was going to be exactly what it is. It looks fire. I cannot wait to see this. And then after seeing how Jonathan Majors moved on Scott Lang, how he was, that uppercut that he threw that he hit him with, it was like he teleported it.
He was definitely dominating him.
He was beating. If the Wasp doesn't show up, Scott don't make it out of there alive. He's stomping his helmet off. I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait to see this movie Creed 3. And I got to go through the list. Attic and I have a ton of movies, so every week we'll be doing some spoiler stuff like this. But we're gonna have to give you 2 episodes of The Last of Us next week. And if you go into the Patreon, check out the Patreon. Attic is doing Chainsaw Man. He's finishing up Chainsaw Man, and I'm finishing up season 1 of Attack on Titan, going into season 2. He said I'm right at his best episode. So hopefully it blows me away, because Ant-Man Quantumania didn't. So it is what it is. What's up with you, Adam?
There is the Patreon, so definitely go there, sub to that. We got a $5 tier where you can ask any question. We're about to get to the questions of this one. And normally we do it at the beginning, but I wanted to do it at the end because there's only 2 questions. I don't want to ruin the flow of the actual podcast.
You said Creed is technically fighting Kang in another timeline. That's a variant.
All right, so we have this question. It is from King of Kings. Do you think people are being too harsh on Marvel Phase 4 and the start of Phase 5? Do you think fans are setting their expectations too high, expecting Endgame Infinity War level for every Marvel movie that has come out since Endgame? By the way, the new Ant-Man movie was awesome and enjoyed from start to finish.
Okay, well, I mean, if he enjoyed it, and there's no way in hell I can take away your joy. If you go to it this is the problem with me being a comic book nerd. All right, I can't go in there and say all the knowledge that I have in my head. Let me push it to the side. I can't do it. So, when I go in there and I watch it with my son or I watch it with my wife, I get a chance to see it through their eyes and get a chance to hear the stuff from them. But if I have disappointment and stuff, I'm gonna have disappointment and stuff. So, yeah. That's how I feel about it. What about you, Attic?
I do have the questions for this week up on the screen. I think it's like I said. I do think we have a lot of that going on. People are comparing this to the climax of the Infinity Stone saga, and I think you have a lot of people expecting every movie to be around that level, and that's not realistic.
They built up to it. It wasn't
Yeah,
that from the
it
gate.
was 20 some movies built up to it, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you got to remember, you got to look at Thor: The Dark World. Ugh, throw it away. You got to look at Captain America, the first one. Oh God, another Boar film. You have to look at a lot of these films that wasn't hitting for a lot of people. Like some people didn't like Captain Marvel. So again, it's all about your choice and who you choose to like and what you choose to like from it.
Then we got Dip Down Games and Anime. What were you feeling towards MODOK? Have we seen the last of him? I personally could not wait for him to be off screen. He was killing my vibe. Jonathan Majors was a standout. Keep up the Attack on Titan and Chainsaw Reacts.
Okay. MODOK, I was happy that they didn't shy away, showed his little butt.
Is that in actual comics?
Yeah, little arms and little legs and big ass head. I'm happy that they didn't shy away from it. I'm happy that they did a comic book accurate MODOK. And hopefully we get a chance to see him again as they wipe his mind and he's able to be the MODOK that we want and not Darren, because the whole Darren thing was blowing me. Like, I thought, oh, Darren, and he wouldn't answer them until he said MODOK. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, and see, I felt like his, we're not getting into it anymore. Yeah.
He said Dark World was great.
Flame,
I don't ever want to talk to you again, sir. Dark World almost sunk the Thor franchise. You better thank Taika Waititi for coming out and giving you Thor Ragnarok.
So, when it comes down to it, it is what it is. I actually think MODOK was done horribly. I think his character development was bad. I think his visualization off of what I seen on the videos that I looked up for him, that was pretty good off of what I would have expected him to look like off those videos. But as far as like his character development, I thought it was god awful.
But they got him spot on with the big ass head though. Yo, that was crazy.
You're ridiculous. But that's pretty much the whole show, guys. Follow us on Twitter. Lord Addict ILP, King David, WTF. I think that's yours, isn't it?
OTW.
OTW.
And everybody don't understand. They think it's on the way. No, it's of the world, stupid.
We will be reacting to the State of Play on Thursday. I think it's Thursday, the 23rd.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow's the Addict Show. Man, I'm going to be doing some every day on streams this week.
But I'll be on Boom Show tomorrow at 7 p.m. So I'll be there for like an hour.
But I appreciate everyone coming through. We enjoy these things, man. That's why we started this, because I, for one, actually enjoy talking about something that's not gaming now. I actually look forward to the R&Rs. Not that I don't look forward to Iron Lord's podcast, but it's nice to talk about something that I haven't talked about for like 5 years. Appreciate all the people coming in the chat. Flame, Paris Lockhart, definitely coming in here and telling me that I had the wrong expectations for Kang. That's perfectly fine. But you guys are coming.
I don't have a King statue. That's crazy.
But I appreciate everyone coming through. We're going to go ahead and pull out of here. These will be up on the R&R channel probably tomorrow. Definitely, like I said, go sub to the Patreon. We got plenty of reactions for you guys. King's reacting to Attack on Titan right now, and I'm reacting to Chainsaw Man. Last week I didn't post anything because we had a lot of stuff going on with the with stuff, but I'm going to start posting. But I'm going to start posting because I got like 7-8 videos in the tuck for Chainsaw Man.
It's crazy. But also, what else we have? We have the Road to PAX. Hey guys, all the everything that you contribute to here to over at Iron Lords. That helps us go into the road to PAX. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
And definitely go on there, in our description. I'm just saying, sign up for you a honey account. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying,